I hope you're ready.
This is Unbridled Thoughts.
We want to hear what you have to say.
Welcome back to Unbridled Thoughts. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Bren, and you better grab the mane because there's no reins in Unbridled Thoughts.
All right. Well, today we're doing a St. Patty's Day special. We have our little beer connoisseurs.
Yes. We have Michael and Andrea from Fall Line Brewery, and we have Chris with Tab and Pour.
Yeah.
And we are so excited to ask some probing questions about brewing.
Can we get a server up here? I might need another beer.
It's nothing too harsh, I promise.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first thing we like to do is ask a little series, what we call blazing saddles questions. They're non-related to anything deep. It's just like a great way for us to just kind of clear the air and like get our guests thinking away from the fact that they're being filmed and recorded and all that. Okay? So, cable car or aerial tramway?
Cable car.
Cable car.
I have no idea.
Books or movies for fun?
Books.
Movies.
Audiobooks?
Yeah.
That counts.
Very
Do you
important
each have a
specifically.
favorite like that you like so far, or what are you all into now?
Honestly, most of my books are pretty boring for the most person. I listen to like self-help books or like educational books for distribution and beer knowledge and things like that. So.
That sounds like me too.
Awesome,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, not beer knowledge, but I'm just trying to better myself.
Yeah, we're estheticians, so we're constantly researching our craft all the time.
Constantly.
Keeps you on your toes and
Yeah.
knowledgeable of what's changing in the market for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so luck of the Irish beer or German beer? What do we prefer?
Man, give me the Irish beer.
Gonna go German.
German.
Yeah.
Well, we got a team. It's like fall lines going the same boat here.
We spend a lot of time together, I guess.
Mike's always got his AirPods in, listening to something. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so I'm going to have you guys kind of just introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about the person behind the beer story first. We're going to start with you, Chris.
There's not really a whole lot. The beer story is my story, so Tap and Pour is kind of my baby. So it's like I eat, sleep, and breathe
Tap and Pour. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Were you
Absolutely.
born in Georgia?
I was born in Atlanta, Fulton
Okay.
County proper. Yep.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's so cool. What brought you down to middle Georgia?
Bad decisions in Florida.
Can't imagine.
I'm not allowed in May County ever again, so I mean, we'll keep it at that.
Yeah. Well, we'll carry on, Mike. What is your story?
Yeah, so I originally from Arizona, went to school in Texas. Now I'm out here. I used to work for Tito's, the vodka company. I did quality
Yeah.
assurance.
It's my favorite vodka.
It's good. I mean, it's good. It's consistent.
So like
for sure.
sipping a lot of it, is that quality assurance?
No, it's lab geek stuff. You're just sitting in the lab all day. But it was fun. And then when I came out here, just kind of happenstance applied at the bar, and the brewmaster at the time just saw my resume and kind of poached me over, and I've just kind of been here for almost 4 years now. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you like it in middle Georgia?
It's cool. Yeah, it's definitely like Macon's a kind of a small city,
Yeah.
town kind of thing.
That's some culture though, and that's what I
For
do
sure.
love about it.
And it's changing so much, so.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
from out west too, so like
Okay.
it is. We love Macon because it's got like lots of music and color,
Yeah.
and there's like sometimes there's music on every corner.
For
you know,
sure.
like,
Mhm. Yeah.
On First Fridays for sure, yeah.
Some we're missing out in Warner
I love the architecture too around here. So all the old buildings and stuff like that, I love it. So
I love
like
how
this
they
building right here
revitalized
that
it.
we're in,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna do pictures because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrea.
Originally from North Carolina. Moved down here 22 years ago.
Wow.
Was stay-at-home mom. And my story starts all the way back to, I started working for the Cressons in Warner Robins, behind the bar at the time. Only drank ciders, hated beer. Then moved slowly but surely, got my taste buds curated to the beer and the different beers, and kind of been with them through the process of opening the second location here in Macon. And then we opened up Old Mulgy Brew Pub on 2nd Street.
Okay.
And I was doing front of house stuff there and doing beer sales on the side for Old Mulgy. And we just reached a point that volume was getting higher and higher, and we were running out of product behind the bar to be able to sell. So it was like, do we expand the tank size? Do we expand the capacity? And then Nate and Caitlin found this building, and at the time this building wasn't even for sale.
Wow.
And they approached the owners and was like, hey, we're interested in this building. At first they said no, and then they turned around and they were like, yeah, we'll sell it to you. And so they bought the building, and I remember it was a manager dinner.
Yeah.
And afterwards they're like, hey, everybody hop on the golf cart, we want to show you something. And we drove by there and we just stopped in front of the building, and they're like, what do you think? And we're like, looks kind of run down. Like, what do we... He was like, it's going to be the new brewery. And I was like, this is insane.
What is the real moment?
So, yeah, so they bought the building in 2018. I started construction 2019. We opened in 2020. And my job position through that has gone from, I was kind of helping out with all of front of house for all 3 locations. We sold Old Mulgy Brew Pub, and then I was helping, at the time, our sales rep for the brewery, helping him logistically, like coming up with plans on selling the product and stuff. And then he moved to Tennessee, and we were needing to fill the position, and Nate and Caitlin approached me about like, hey, what do you think about just taking over the position, since you already know Savannah, you already knew Chris. Like, Chris is a perfect example. Like, I already knew people in the industry and all the locations.
And
So-
Savannah, by the way, is a distributing company.
Yeah.
So they're the middleman between them and Tap and Pour.
Wow.
Yeah.
wow.
That's the way Georgia runs. Georgia is we sell product to Savannah Distributing, and Savannah Distributing then distributes the beer to all the different locations.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like Just Tapped, we still own Just Tapped, but to get product to Just Tapped, they have to pick it up. Savannah has to pick it up from here. It goes all the way to Atlanta,
Yeah.
then loads up on a truck to come back to Macon.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So yeah,
It's wild, but self-distributing, like, that's what people don't think about the beer business is most local breweries can't self-distribute. You have to have trucks, logistics, salespeople, the whole 9 yards. So, I mean, there's a middleman. That's why the beer sometimes, gets a little bit pricier. That's why they can sell it for a certain price here, and I have to, of course, make our margins off of it. But
Yeah.
yes.
yeah, I get calls all the time on Fridays going, hey, product didn't get delivered, can you bring me some? And I'm like,
I can't.
I can't legally.
so
Like, you
crazy.
can't possess it in your bar, and I can't sell it to you. So
Shame on them for not planning.
I-
I've never done that.
no,
So
never.
what
That doesn't look like a very I'm not quite convinced.
So what would change that? Like if someone lobbied to change that law? Or?
So we have a Georgia Guild,
Okay.
and that is our lobbyist. So it is ran by a lawyer that is in the courthouse all the time up in Atlanta, trying to lobby for us and trying to get those changed. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this year is probably the closest to getting passed. Every year it gets a little bit closer. Breweries in itself, like some breweries are wanting to be able to self-distribute statewide, but for the most part, we just want like 100-mile radius.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, let us
that's
help out our
reasonable.
local,
Let me
like
take
like-
the keg down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
let
that.
me help
take-
people out.
Yes, absolutely.
That would
Yeah.
be
So-
cool.
And a lot of the brewers, they advocate for wanting to do self-distribution. I know Schoolhouse down in Savannah is very, very adamant that they don't want to send their product to Atlanta just to turn around and send it to a bar a half mile away.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's kind of like when we mail a letter, right? It has to go all the way up to
Sure.
Atlanta just to go back to Macon.
That's right.
That's silly. Good old government. It's your turn.
Me? All right, so let us get to know the person behind you, which we kind of already did that. And then, when was the first time you tried a beer? Did you like it? And what's your favorite now?
My first time, I probably would have been 14. It was a Rolling Rock.
Okay.
And I hated it. It's gross. I still don't think I care for Rolling Rock. Couldn't tell you last time I had one. Actually, as like an adult, probably legal adult, Wasn't until like my 20s. I had a friend who was like really into craft beer. That was like his thing. So we used to go to bars, and I was indifferent towards it. Like, it was fine.
Yeah.
But I would drink it.
Yeah.
But my go-to has always been a Mexican lager. Like, a Modelo is my all-time drinking our Mexican lager right now. Like, that's that will always be my go-to.
Antigua Gold.
I don't think I will ever stray from a Mexican lager for the rest of my life. So.
It's the West Coast in us. I
guess
know.
so.
It's like
Yeah,
you
I
can pull
guess.
the West Coast kids out of West Coast.
Something
but
about it. I don't know what it is. No matter what. It's
we
always,
will stay loyal.
Yes, 100%.
Oh man, so this is horrible. I definitely wasn't 16, probably 15 or so. We had it was in Titusville, Florida, and there was this place called the Enchanted Forest. It was mostly like a sand quarry, basically. And somehow 15, 16-year-old kids got a hold of a keg of Bud Light. And long story short, I drank like 2 cups and I was just absolutely hammered. And the next thing I know, like, police are swarming on us from everywhere. All I remember is taking like 2 steps, face planting.
Oh no.
Yeah. I didn't like beer, to be honest with you. I never had a taste for beer growing up. I'd pretend like I was drinking it, but I'd pour that cup out.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just never had a taste for beer until later on, and then now I'm getting back away from it for some reason. I don't know what it is. My taste buds have changed over the years.
Well, all your cells change every 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Your hair, your tongue, your skin cells, they go through a complete change. Your palate's constantly.
Thank God. I wonder when the last time I went through a reset was. I need to know. I need to know.
It's time to reset the palate.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's funny.
I grew up pretty open household, like as long as it stayed in the house. My parents didn't care. Probably had my first beer probably around the same age, 13, 14, where I started like, what is that? Because my dad, even back then, had a beer fridge and trying the different beers he had. Kind of very similar, grew away from it where I was like, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Didn't drink beer again until I was probably 16, 17, and had a best friend that was from England. And all he kept in his fridge was, Newcastle Honey Brown? Yeah. Which was not like traditional back then. Like all anybody ever drank was like the Bud Lights and stuff like that, because you didn't have craft beer then. That was your craft beer at that time.
Yeah.
And so we drank a lot of that, and like I said, then kind of just ventured away from it again after, and then went back to liquor or some type of malt liquor beverage. Yeah. And like I said, then started working for the Crescents, and I was like, I don't like beer. I'd listen really well on what Nate was talking about, the different beers, because I'm like, I do remember my first beer that I drank with them, though, was Founder's Breakfast Stout.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one, though.
Yeah. Founder's Breakfast Stout was probably my reintroduction to beer.
Yeah.
Started drinking a lot of stouts.
Yeah.
But come to find out, like, being behind the bar, if you have people that come in and all they drink is ciders, sometimes the stouts are the easiest ones to get them to try.
Switch over
because
to.
I don't know if it's the carbonation level, if it's what, but it's the easiest to get people to drink stouts when they come from ciders.
I just discovered the hard way the other night that ciders have sulfites in them.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm allergic to sulfites.
Oh, no. We didn't know.
I literally thought I was having a heart attack, okay? Sunday night.
No. We were sitting in the car together like let's WebMD it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, you did have that cider the other night. And then we Googled it and we're like,
Yeah. I was like, oh, well, that was it.
What cider was it?
It was the apple, the angry orchard.
Angry Orchard.
Yeah, and my heart started palpitating. Like, I went to go to bed, and my heart was just like racing, like into like the 130s, 150s.
Ooh.
And my heart rate stays at like 55, 60. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. You know, and I only slept like 4 hours, and it came back again. It was like flushing, like heart racing and everything. Woke up and I don't have insurance, so I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm dying, I'm having a heart attack, I'm only 46 and I can't even go anywhere.
Remind me next time you come in not to give you an Ace pear pie.
No. Yeah, I didn't know it, so it was a scary fun time. But I'm not much of a beer drinker either.
Yeah.
I did it when I was nursing because I had big babies and I had to like fill the breasts, and that worked, but yep, not after that. So, hey, that's one thing you guys learned today.
I didn't know beer could do that.
Oh, I-
Beer
Yeah.
helps with milk production.
It's the higher yeast ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of I had production problems with my son.
Yeah.
And that was where they were like, yeah, you need to drink some Hefeweizens. And I'm like, do what?
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
if you drink Hefeweizens, it helps with production. I'm like, that is the weirdest thing, but okay.
Mississippi Mud.
You
That
had to
was my
bring up-
beer
you had to bring
choice.
up the German beers again. I'm the only one that didn't like Irish, and you gonna bring
Make sure
that
you
up.
swirl that bottle to get the extra yeast off the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, time to inform the novices. What are the differences between lagers, Ales, and IPAs?
I'm going to turn that one to Mike.
It's gotta be you, bud.
Yeah.
They're apparently just
Fair.
she runs, he drinks.
Fair.
You gotta bring the knowledge.
So there's debatable how you want to talk about this, but in general there's only two types of beers. There's actually just lagers and ales.
Okay.
An IPA is actually just an ale, it's just a subcategory of it.
Okay.
So the main difference is lagers, they take a lot longer and they're at a lower temperature, so that's typically going to be like 42 to 44 degrees, depending on the style you're doing. Ales are going to be higher, like 52 to 54.
Okay.
You can go up with certain ales to like 100 degrees, and that's when you get into like weird yeast strains. So that's the two different types, and then from there, essentially, it's all your different yeast strains. So like IPAs, there's 100 different yeast strains. Germans have their own type of strains. There's New Zealand strains.
Yeah.
So it's all just that yeast and how that chemistry is going to work with the sugar, and that's going to create your different styles. But the general answer is just it's lagers, ales.
What is an example of a lager and an ale, just so people know?
Yeah, so a lager would be, if you're going to go like super macro, that would be your Bud Lights.
Okay.
Or like even a Pilsner is a lager, so like
Okay.
a Miller Light, those
Okay.
kind of things. Those
Yeah,
very,
Yingling would be like
yes.
a.
So that's an
okay.
amber lager. It's a little bit
Amber lager,
darker. And that comes
Yeah.
from the malts. How you get the darker just from different malts. It's kind of like, think of it like coffee roasting.
Yeah.
You can roast it heavier, lighter, and that's going to change the flavor and color of the beer. A macro for like ales would be, gotta think. I mean, you can even say like a Guinness. That's a stout, so
Okay.
that's an ale.
Okay.
It's like a macro IPA.
Yeah.
It's like a,
The Sweetwater 420.
yeah, Sweetwater
Yeah.
420 for
Yeah.
people who know that.
Yeah.
So those would be like your main
Tropicalia.
Yeah, Tropicalia is
Okay.
big. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
It's a lot more chemistry than I thought there was going to be.
There's a
I
lot of
use-
chemistry.
Yeah.
Got crazy,
IBU has a
yeah.
little bit to do with it though, right? Aren't IPAs, they're traditionally more bitter than a regular
Yeah.
ale, so
Yeah,
international
that actually-
bitterness units,
Yeah.
like
That's
the
what
higher
the next one.
Isn't,
sure.
isn't it Indian Pale Ale? Isn't that what it stands for? IPA.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does. It's India Pale, and there's kind of debate on the origin of if that's the story is allegedly they would transport the hops from India, and they had to keep the hops like specially stored
Yeah.
to maintain them. But there's
Yeah.
a lot of debate if that's true or not. I don't think anybody really like knows.
I bet you in the old trading days though, because I've
Yeah.
studied all that in geology.
Yeah, it very well.
So I
could
bet
be.
you know what I mean. I bet you that's true.
It very
Yeah,
There's
that's where
some
that all
people
came
swear
from.
it's not true. Some people swear
Yeah.
it
It's
is.
something to do with the preservation of the beer as it was shipped,
Yeah.
as the old tale goes. But I don't think I believe that either, because if y'all ever had an IPA that's about 120 days old, it's not always good.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, you're already jumping ahead to some of our other questions. Apparently, beer expires.
Yeah.
It sure does.
It's not like wine, huh?
Not at all. No, not at all.
So it just kind of breaks down if it's the longer it sits.
Yeah, so you have mostly your problem is going to come with hops, just because they, not to get too into the nitty, but they have like these beta proteins in them, and as they break down, you start to get like oxidation, which is basically tastes like wet cardboard. Is the most accurate way to describe it. It's you'll know
Yummy.
it. It's gross.
Skunk
Yeah,
beer.
it's disgusting. It's very gross. It tastes very off, and it also tastes kind of flat. Like you'll taste it's very flat,
Yeah.
very weird, and that as that breaks down over time. That's just going to inevitably happen, and there are ways to kind of avoid that or make your beer last longer.
Yeah.
And as well as temperature is a big thing, or if it goes hot to cold, cold to hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
The general rule is you want to keep it one temperature. Cold is always better, but if you don't have cold storage, you want to keep it in just the same storage until you're ready to serve it.
I
The
had
back
a
and
couple of
forth.
Yingwings hanging out in the fridge for 3.5 years. They're probably ready to.
You
Be
might
tossed.
you might be okay. You might take a sip of one. You might be okay.
Yinglings would probably be
Yeah.
okay. The
Really?
ones that are really like that you can taste the differences, like you said, like your IPAs or your
Yeah.
higher like hop product.
Okay, okay. I might be okay with that L though, huh?
So
Maybe.
that 10-year-old bottle of Iron Maiden beer I got, probably not good.
It's gonna be delicious.
It might be great.
We're never gonna drink it anyway.
I would say the one thing that people are like, stouts are the big one, just because how they age over time. You might get that, they call it like an umami flavor, so it's like soy. Like
Yeah.
soy sauce is the best way to describe it. That'll start to be more prevalent. People like that. They'll have like bottles of stouts they've been sitting on for 6 years,
Right.
and then they'll crack them open and drink them, and it's
To me, they all taste the same.
yeah, it just depends.
Like, we used to have a storage up at Just Tapped where we would buy a case of beer, and we always take like a handful of them and put them down in storage. And they would sit there, and we had some, we got rid of this probably, last year? And we had some beers that have been sitting there since 2014, and we crack them open, it's like, oh, this is just all soy sauce. Like, it just all tastes the same. But you have groups of people that is all they do.
Yeah.
Like, they go around and they collect all these old stouts, and they just sit on them. They put them in a box in their back of their closet, and they just sit on it. And they bring it all out for a beer share, and it's like, this just all tastes the same, guys. Like,
Some of them are hard to come by, though.
yeah,
you know?
agreed. I still have some beers, like, I still have my KBS vertical
Exactly,
in my fridge.
KBS
Like,
is exactly
So-
Kentucky bourbon stout. So we were talking about it earlier.
so you got KBS and you got CBS. Founders Brewing does, each year they do a special release of beers, and they age them in certain barrels. Now, beers that have been barrel aged and then bottled, those tend to last a little bit longer. Like, they do it a certain way, then they wax, like, seal it, so no air for sure will ever get in that bottle. And those will last a little bit longer on the shelf, but then, like Mike and I were talking about, like, they just kind of start morphing to kind of tasting all the same, but
Yeah.
it's more of the name brand that people are looking for,
Yeah.
because it's such a limited run when they release those.
Yeah.
It's crazy that there's like an underground soy beer group.
Soy
Well,
sauce.
they're above
Yeah.
ground. Trust me, they're above ground. We've seen them.
I mean, there are
They're still
some,
walking around, huh?
Yeah.
there are some like black market for beer stuff, like people like these like it's obviously not illegal, but there are like websites where if you can't find stuff, people are selling them on, and like these kind of weird
Oh, I believe it.
street underground valley
Yeah.
things. So it's
I mean, if they
interesting.
have it with shoes, I'm sure they have it with
Yes.
beer.
I mean, it's like anything, right? It's,
Onlybeers.com.
Yes.
What is it? The big one that around here is, I'm sure Chris knows a handful of people. It's Piney the Elder by Russian River out of California. They don't distribute to the East Coast. They do distribute to Florida for
They
some
do.
reason.
Yeah.
But you'll have people passing by, and it's like, hey, I have this bottle of Piney. What will you give me? And it's like, I'll trade you a case of this for that bottle. And it's probably the best beer that I've ever had as far as IPA profile. There is one location up north that is owned by a cousin of the owner of Russian River, and he has it on draft. And I went there for a convention, and I walked in, I was like, Piney, please. That's all you go in there for. They have this secret bar in the back that it's just on
Oh
draft.
my gosh.
fun.
How fun.
who does Spotted Cow? Why can't I think of the brewer's name?
I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Nate will hurt me for not knowing it because he likes it.
I should know it. Anyway, there's a brewery up Wisconsin, right?
Believe so.
Yeah, it's Wisconsin, and they will not distribute outside of the state because they don't need to.
Is it Spotted Cow?
Spotted Cow is
My
the beer.
sister
It's-
called. She was really excited.
I
about
should
this
absolutely
interview.
know who makes it
Yeah.
because they're amazing. But
And she was like, I really wish I would have given you some.
All right, now I gotta
She's
look
like,
it up.
I can't ship it. 'cause
there are like forums
Yeah.
where people will be like, "Hey, I'm heading up there. Who wants?" And you can like
Don't look
pay
it
them
up.
to
They'll
get
come
cases
to
of
you in, like,
beer.
2
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Shout out to Jacqueline.
Yeah.
She
Nuclear.
tried.
Nuclearis. That's it.
Nuclearis.
Nuclearis.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway.
Well, touching back on what you're saying about the bitterness of a beer, what makes that taste profile more or less bitter?
It's mostly hops. So
Okay.
primarily more hops are going to be higher bitterness. There's like yeast, there's 100 different types of hops depending on how you do them and when you put them into the actual brewing process. So the earlier you do them, more bitter. Later it's more like floral, sweet, and effervescent smells. So yeah, the more hops is going to make it more bitter. The thing with IBUs that gets weird is it's kind of subjective. So like you might see a beer that's 75 and you drink it and you're like, oh, this is too bitter for me, I hate it. But you might drink a beer that's 90 and you're like, I don't even notice it. So it's kind of dependent on your taste and also the grain bill. So certain things, like you might have a stout that's 90 IBU, but you're not going to taste it because all that like chocolate and coffee malt's going to cover it.
Got it.
So yeah, it's really just hops is primarily going to do that, but it's one of those things I think a lot of people in the industry they kind of ignore IBUs. They don't really care because it's just so subjective on the person.
Are L's the only one that are lagers the only one they filter? Or do they filter L's too?
You can filter ales. I think lagers, it's more like, it definitely helps flavor, but it's like an aesthetic thing. You just get this like clear picture of beer that you can see through. That's like a very cool thing. Whereas you get an IPA, you kind of want like that haziness and that darkness. So you can filter it, but usually they won't, just because that's kind of the look you're going for.
Yeah.
If you had like a clear IPA, you would probably be questionably concerned as to
Why is
you
it?
don't see anything in it. So you can definitely do it, but yeah, usually lagers primarily are filtered.
I don't often drink beer, but when I do, it's usually Stella Artois, and I found out it's because they're double filtered.
Yes.
You know, and it just doesn't make me feel as like yucky.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Filtration's huge for sure.
Yeah.
It's it can be complicated. It's definitely.
But I stole the Dos Equis line. All right. So, what makes a high quality beer? And that probably is going to be for you, Mike, huh? Or do you guys anybody
What
else?
makes a high
I was
quality
saying-
beer?
Local. That's what makes a high
I
quality beer.
think that's
is
like a
local.
personal thing, a personal like decision, because a high quality beer like it would be your traditional stuff, but definitely here in Macon, like your local breweries are going to be your first choice for what people drink around here. Because like in Macon alone, you have Fall Line, which we distribute statewide, but you got Piedmont that is still very like Georgia known, and you got Old Mulgy Brew Pub that they distribute some, but mostly it's people in Macon that know the beer that is distributed there, and that's what you see a lot, like going through the pipes in Macon. But you still have those the big brands that are really popular at different bars. So
I could be wrong, but I thought I've seen people drink Fall Line in California, in Southern California. No,
unless someone took it over there.
really?
Yeah, we're only distributed in the state of Georgia. We only have rights in the state of Georgia.
I did not know
So,
that.
like, I mean, it could possibly make it their way over there, whoever takes it over there.
Yeah.
I know my son-in-law has some in Omaha, because every time they come to visit, they take it back. But he was stationed here in Warner Robins, so he fell in love with Fall Line before my daughter and him even got married. So, like, he loves Fall Line, and, So.
I think high quality is just so subjective too, because something that I feel like is amazing, the next person might come in and be like, "No, this isn't for me." It's it's all about the style you drink, especially when you get into the craft business. We all know Mick Ultra, we all know Bud Light, we all know Yingling, but it's once you start getting into the craftier beers, it's all subjective as to what your taste is. And but high quality, I really don't. Yeah, again, it's very subjective, because again, him and I probably have different palates on beer.
Yeah.
I compare beer a lot to, and it sounds really super cheesy, spaghetti sauce. Like, think about it, you have certain styles. So, like, you have a particular style of beer that you just prefer.
Yeah.
But every brewery has their own recipe and their own modification to call it their own. Just like every family has their one secret item that they add to their spaghetti sauce to make it their own. We've joked about it, but like the breweries are just basically, they make a really good soup that they feed the yeast, and the yeast makes the beer. So like,
This sounds like a country song.
it really depends on like what people are used to. So
Makes sense. You may ask this next one, Sarah?
No, because they answered it. If you want to jump straight to 7, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the craziest thing you've each had to overcome working at a brewery? Or the craziest thing that's ever happened?
For lack of table liking beer. Chris has some crazy stories. I could just tell. He's like,
We went viral last week for a
What?
post about kids, man. Yeah, it's people not watching their kids on the patio. Just dad, like, I watched a kid get beamed with a rock last week, man, and the dad was like, why did he get hit with the rock? What are you going to do about this? Like, your kid threw the rock first. Like, it's just wild stuff with.
Isn't this like the second time you've had to post something about this?
Every week, usually. It's just like once a week. This one somehow went viral though, so I have like parents just reaching out, like, "Oh, that's horrible. Y'all should not ban children on the patio." Like, no, I'm not banning children on the patio. It's just, can you like watch them? Because
Yeah.
I'm not being
I'm not a
paid to be
babysitter.
babysitter. So,
Well, and
It's
it
just-
becomes a liability.
well, just restaurant in general is wild.
Yeah.
Every day is a new day. Chicken wakes up to a new world every day.
Mhm.
That's tap and pour. That's restaurant in general, I think.
Yeah.
But we have the family aesthetic too. We built it for families. Like
Yeah.
we're a bar, I guess you could say, but at the end of the day, we're more or less of a family establishment. I feel
Mhm.
like, but people start taking advantage of that.
Mhm.
And, yeah, just those kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were hoping for some drunk stories, and we get the kids.
Oh, I got plenty of those too.
How do I reach these kids?
Drunk stories, but hold on. I'll let you go ahead and
Sure.
do it first.
Mine will be more of a general answer, and I think Andrea can relate on this. Is if people are unaware, I'm sure you've seen the craft beer industry was here, and then it went here, and now it's kind of evening a little bit. And I kind of joined in maybe right at the tail end of like the hype, so to speak, where it was huge, and you could open a brewery tomorrow and
It was going to be a success.
yeah, you were going to be fine, and then that kind of tanked. So I think just in general, this is not one part. This is the brewing team, this is Andreas, the tap room, it's marketing, it's everyone having to kind of adapt and change and
Yeah.
kind of watch the market and try new things and
Absolutely.
cut back on things that aren't working. So that's just an ongoing challenge.
Watch your price points and
Yeah.
stuff. Don't brew something that's,
Yeah.
or don't, in my case, don't buy something
Right.
that might be, more expensive to a guest. People don't
For
want to
sure.
spend $16 on a pint.
Right.
So that's what we ran into also is the craft beer business. We strive to keep it going, but it's one of those things. It was a fad, I think, at one point in time, and now it's starting to die off a little. But there's a lot of people that are still putting out great products. But the THC seltzers, should we talk about that?
Yeah.
So when they reopened, or when they shut down the government, right, they
Mhm.
slipped this bill in there to ban THC seltzers, right? So basically by the end of this year, unless there's some reform, we're not going to be able to sell THC seltzers anymore. But for a lot of big breweries, to the best of my knowledge, that's how they were basically mitigating their loss for the
Oh,
business
yeah.
being here and going down here. So
Yeah.
they started to sell the THC seltzers. Then they pulled the rug out from us, slipped a bill in when they reopened the government to kill
Yeah.
the farm bill,
Mm.
which hemp products. So 3
I've heard about the
acres.
CBD is going to be an issue
So
too.
3 acres of hemp, from my knowledge, produces more paper product or anything than 8 acres of forest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's able to be produced 3 times a year, whereas those trees are there for however long to make those
I
products.
think it's like 3 to 5 years.
Pretty big deal when
Yeah.
that happened. They're, like I said, they're trying their best to give Budweiser and
Mhm.
other companies an advantage over the craft beer
Mhm.
companies,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad too because they are injecting the trees with stuff that make them grow faster too. So now it's like any paper quality from a wood paper is just not even nowhere near what it used to be. I mean that goes to our construction and everything, So it's just kind of like, why not, use some of these other things.
Well, that and I'm an advocate for THC.
Yeah.
Huge
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
Well, and also like I feel like it creates a space for people that don't drink or refrain from drinking to feel included too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is nice because you got the 0 proof and things like that, but
Mhm.
it's like it's hard like when you're sitting you're like, well, go order a mocktail,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you want some cranberry juice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make you a mocktail for sure.
I take my cranberry juice neat. Just so we sounded fun.
And I think the hardest thing is just staying on top of things, of where the trends are and where everything. Like one of my biggest jobs, yes, is sales, but it's also submerging myself into like the different areas of Georgia and just knowing what is selling in that area. We've even made modifications here at our own brewery. Like craft beer is definitely like what we're here for, but we've done cocktails on draft for about a year and a half now,
a
and
year this month.
yeah, even and doing wines and stuff like that to make it that space that everybody can come to and enjoy. But as far as like the brewing, like knowing what's on top of trends and knowing what to bring back to the guys, going, hey, this is what people are drinking at this bar. This is like what style, and that's a lot of where the Mexican lager came from. Is we had our yearly meeting with Savannah, and it was like, hey, what beer are you lacking as far as your portfolio of what drinkers are asking for? And craft Mexican lagers was what was missing the most. And so that's why we put out a Mexican lager to try to fill that void in the state. So
It's on tap at Tap and Pour right now.
I know, I saw it come through. But yeah, just staying on top of trends is the hardest like hiccup
I
sometimes.
didn't realize there was so many like beer trends. I just
Yeah.
figured people liked what they liked, and you just kind of.
It's
Yeah.
constant.
Really?
It's generational.
For sure.
It's
Yeah.
definitely generational. So like our generation, we're beer drinkers, and then you have the generation that's more cocktail lenient, and then you've got the California sober like crowd that they're wanting the more. They're not drinking alcohol, but they're wanting the THC or the CBD. So it's definitely a trend, but we're actually starting to see a trend back. What Mike touched on it briefly is like now we're starting to see a craft beer trend coming back up.
It's starting to kind of stabilize a little
Yes,
bit.
stabilizing, but I think a lot of that has to do with just the unfortunate of the amount of craft breweries that have had to close over the last couple years. It's shrinking the selection, so the ones of us that I guess could say survived
Perfect.
the drop off, we're starting to see a little bit more of an incline as far as sales goes.
I mean, I'm kind of baffled by this whole thing
know.
because I really didn't know that there was this
Yeah.
much. I was
It's a
like, I'm
lot
trying
of
to take it all in.
Yeah.
A lot of people think we just sit around and drink beer and make it, but
Yeah.
honestly, there's a
It
science.
sounds so easy.
Yeah. There's a lot of knowledge in the background that has to be done, a lot of research, a lot of like talking to people and having conversations with people at bars.
Yeah.
So I go up and I sit at Tap and Pour, and I talk to Chris, but I'm also talking to people at the bar going,
Yeah.
what are you drinking? What are you like, what are you wanting in the
Yeah.
market? So yeah.
Market research is a huge deal in this business.
Yeah.
You got to know what your people want to drink
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and what they're willing to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. So have you guys ever witnessed any brewing mishaps?
That would yes. I've never. The only story I have, and Mike can follow up with more recent stories. But our first batch that we ever brewed here, we were trying out our mill, and trying to figure out what like mill ratio we wanted to mill the grain.
Yeah.
And the first batch of beer that the brewers at the time made literally came out of the mash tun like oatmeal. We had milled the grains. They had milled the grains so like small that it literally had turned into a whole kettle of nothing but oatmeal. You couldn't get any liquid out of it at all. I was glad I was not here for that day because that was during like the beginning and we were everywhere. And I just heard the nightmare stories. I was like, yeah, we just had sludge.
Oh man, that's especially as you're starting up too. You have
Yeah.
so many startup costs already, and you're like, oh great, well let's add to it. What about you, Mike? Do you have any other stories other than the oatmeal?
Yeah, I mean, I could think of 10. I'll only say myself. So I'm not counting as one of us. It's one of those things where if you talk to any brewer, they've done it, they've seen people do it. It's just kind of what happens.
Yeah.
It was like I was probably been here a month, maybe 2. I was cleaning the tank, just kind of just doing my thing, not really, obviously not paying attention, I had a clean empty tank here and then a full tank here. And I thought I was taking a part off of the empty tank, and it was in fact the full tank right next to it. And I unscrewed the tri clamp, and then just beer shooting out.
Oh,
And I just kind of
no.
I just stood there, and I was like, I don't even know what to do in this moment. And fortunately, there was Nick, who was our old brewmaster, was here. He was right around the corner, so he just kind of like ran and walked me through it. And It was a very minimal loss, fortunately,
Oh,
only like a
good.
couple gallons, but it was like immediately one of those things I just had no idea what to do.
Yeah. Deer in the headlight.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen those Instagram videos of people pulling off the wrong thing, and beer just shooting everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those, you know.
At least it was only beer.
Yes.
I mean, you hear about people doing it at the campers, you know what I mean?
Sure.
That's the mishap you don't want to have.
Yeah, nothing dangerous. No, yeah.
That's
the
a shitty situation.
the golden, the golden
No
rule.
pun intended.
The golden rule is just it's always make sure you're on the right tank and you're touching the right thing
Yeah.
before you do anything. It's like always double check what you're doing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Have any of you guys ever brewed your own beer?
Small,
Yeah.
very
Couple
small
times, yeah.
batches, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any
I've
success
tried.
stories with it?
Mine
Not
was
with
horrible.
Chris.
A stink
Mine-
bug got in it though, and it actually ended up tasting okay.
Oh, really?
What got in it?
A stink bug.
And then it tasted better.
Extra protein.
That's right.
Let's all go over to Chris's and have a beer.
Yeah.
Stink bug IPA.
Oh my gosh.
It's really got that stinky beer, huh?
I brewed a beer here, but the only reason that one wasn't successful is it sat too long.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lavender pale ale,
Yeah.
and I was so excited about it, and it just kind of got pushed back, kept getting pushed back, putting it like advertising it, and by the time we put it on tap, it if I remember correctly, it had no lavender profile anymore because so the yeast continues to a certain degree to eating, kind of like the same hop profile.
I've
Like
heard
it just
that,
keeps
yeah.
eating it, and it barely had any lavender, and we weren't able to.
Oh.
I think we drank a few of them, but then we just
Yeah.
wound up wasting the rest of it. It was a small
Dang.
batch. It was only 5 gallons, so.
That's a beer I think I can get behind.
Yeah,
I want to try that.
Bring it back.
And
Bring it back.
lavender is very
Trendy.
finicky. Well, it's
Yeah.
trendy, yes,
Yeah.
but it's finicky to brew with
Yeah.
because if you put too much lavender, like the recipe called for a certain amount, and we tried it, and it just tasted like soap. We were like, okay, we can't. So we wound up doing like an eighth of the amount of lavender
Yeah.
that they had recommended, and it was like, okay, this has the aromatics of the lavender, but you're not really tasting a lot of the lavender. And I think that's the reason why it dissipated is because it
Yeah.
wasn't as pungent as what
Right.
it originally, the recipe had called for.
I've seen a lot of lavender, gin and vodkas coming to the market recently.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
For
I
sure.
think.
People going into the herbal world for
Yeah.
sure.
I've seen a lot of it. One of them was really good though. The gin, I don't drink gin, but that was a good one.
Yeah, gins are real easy to do, like with the different herbals, because it's just a vodka base that they flavor with juniper berry and different herbs to make a modified version and call it gin. So.
We like to hit Collins Quarter when we go to Savannah.
Yes, love Collins.
And they have a lavender latte. And
Nice.
My favorite.
Yeah, it's so
they do
good.
so good with it. It's like perfect. It's my favorite drink.
What do you feel is harder to brew? Out of an IPA, a lager, which one is harder to brew and you feel like takes more skill?
Yeah, that's
We probably have different feelings on this.
for sure. I would say, personally, I would say IPA only because you run into obviously more malts, more hops. They take more time, just a slower process. You also have a lot less, what's the word? Flexibility with the yeast. So like lager yeast, you can kind of just leave it in there and it's just going to do its thing, and you can ignore it for 2 months and come back to it and you're fine. An IPA, you run the risk of if it sits there for a little too long, you start getting like a soapy flavor. You start getting like really, and so if you're not careful, you're not paying attention, it will turn the beer very bad quickly. So you're kind of limited on time for those, whereas lagers are like, it's not the best to have your tank occupied that whole time, but if it just sits there for 2 months for whatever the reason, it's not a problem. You're just kind of like letting it sit and do its thing.
Yeah.
So I would say IPAs just because they're a lot more fickle.
Yeah.
And you just really have to pay attention, but
And I would say almost opposite,
sure.
just because, yes, IPAs are harder as far as lengthwise for their part, but my rule of thumb is the first thing I do when I go into a brewery is I try the lagers, because lagers are harder for me, like from what I've seen, are harder to hide mistakes.
For sure.
So, like, if you go into a brewery and you have a lager and it tastes really good, people don't realize the simplicity, how hard it is to to actually make a good lager
Yeah.
because there's no room for error.
Yeah.
Like the flavor profile is what the flavor profile is.
Mhm.
If you have one bacterial strain get in it, you're going to taste it in a lager. Whereas an IPA, you can mask it with adding additional hops, or you can add a fruit to it or something to mask those off flavors. Whereas a lager is just a lager.
It is,
Like
yeah.
it's very clean, very easy to make a mistake. So I would almost say opposite.
For sure. Yeah, I think both are valid.
So
That answer.
All right. So, what beer do you secretly like that beer snobs judge you for?
oh god.
Bud Light on the golf course. Bud Latte.
I don't know if secretly judge for, because so being in the service industry, like going around selling beer all the time, you're pushing your product all the time, but everybody knows in the end I'm a PBR and tequila shot. Like give me a tequila shot and a PBR and I'm good to go.
PBR all day.
Speaking of Savannah, like there's a few accounts that they always pour our PBRs with other sales reps. They pour our PBRs into a craft beer glass and we're sitting around drinking it because we're decked out in our attire and everything. It's like, yeah, I'm drinking a PBR. Like, sorry. So they pour it into a glass. But
And
we're
now
not
I have to
judged
try
as
this.
much. Well, I mean, that's the service industry like deal. Most of the time you can ask for a tequila shot and a PBR and it's no more than $5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that is the service industry like special.
Yeah. That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
Good to know.
Well, Andrea kind of shared this already, but what has been your most surprising flavor or ingredient combination that people have really liked? Or an ingredient in a beer that you were like, whoa, I never thought that was going to taste good, but it's awesome.
You go ahead.
Oh, you got this one.
Oh no, I gotta think on this second.
Okay, cool. So
That's where I'm like,
yeah, thanks.
there's so many. Sorry, there's just
yeah.
so many flavor profiles that I've tried over the like. I like them all. Like I'm not a beer snob in the sense that I like one particular flavor profile over another. I mean, yes, I've had some beers that I'm just like, oh, that's just not for me, but I can still appreciate it because I know what went into making the beer and this in the behind the scenes that I can appreciate it. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I don't know.
I've seen a Gouda cheese stout one time. And
Wow,
yes,
yeah,
it
that'd be
was,
weird.
Yeah.
Was it good?
No, not to me. Not to me. But I'm sure somebody somewhere appreciated it. Again, to what she said, it takes a lot of time and effort to put something out like that. It also takes a lot of money, you know, to jump out on that line and be like, hey man, I'm gonna put some Gouda cheese in there. I don't know if I would have done that. But.
I know one you probably remember, and Mike doesn't know. I mean, I don't know if you would have tried it. This is probably before your time, but when I first got into the craft beer scene, there was Dogfish had done a chocolate and lobster beer.
Yes.
I have heard of that. Yeah.
So they did a choc lobster beer, and we had it on draft up at JT, and everybody wanted to try it, but nobody wanted to drink it. And we had a whole half barrel of it, and we wound up because the keg was at that time really expensive. Like beer prices have gone up over the time, but at this time, like that was a really expensive beer, and we were just handing out samples of it, and everybody's like, yeah, that's really good, but I can't do a full 16. So we wound up having to sell samples. We were like, hey, we'll give you a 4-ounce sample, but this is how much it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even try the beer, and we went through it because it also had basil in it.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the half barrel being on draft, like the basil started fermenting.
Whoa.
So like literally changed profile. And we're like finally at the point where like, hey, we can't sell this beer anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's just not the flavor profile at all what Dogfish was trying to put out. So
Jalapeno flavored beers too.
the Sculpins. Ballast Point did
Sculpins, Ballast Point, the Mexican lollipops.
Yeah.
Those to me, like the mango habanero and all that's
Okay.
weird to me.
Interesting.
That's weird to me.
They're
I
really
think I
weird,
would
but
like
also-
it.
They
Though.
do so well here. Yeah, we
I
did.
think I would like
They
that
super
actually.
well.
That
We're doing
might, that's a beer I might want to try.
We're
Like
doing
a
a
like a
jalapeno line
spicy
this year.
margarita.
Oh,
It's
nice.
so wild though, because I'll put it on tap and it'll be there for 2 months.
Really?
And
Yeah.
then the minute the keg goes out, I'm like, yes, finally. I go to replace it, and somebody will come in, always the next day, and they're like, hey,
Where's the jalapeno beer?
Where's
Well,
that
the hard-
watermelon habanero? Dang, where have you been for 2 months? Damn.
Well, the hardest part for a brewing process of that one is you figure they're making it in probably batches larger than what we have. And then when you keg it off, like you may be getting a really hot point of that beer, or you may be getting a mellow point of that beer when you're kegging it off. So just the difference from keg to keg is really hard to judge. Like I remember when Sculpin was being bottled and kegged, like sometimes you'd open a bottle and you can pick up the jalapeno notes or the habanero notes. And then the next bottle is like, I can't drink this. Like, this is so spicy, I cannot even drink this.
Yeah.
So I think that's the hardest part of those beers, and not knowing.
That's like in Wisconsin right now. It's like a dill pickle beers
Oh,
that are
we do-
trending.
I
do
love
have
it.
pickle
I love pickle beers.
Yeah, that would have been my answer. Is pickle beers are huge. I don't do pickles. It's not for me. But we put up a pickle beer and it crushes every year. There's a brewery and my friend works up in Alabama. They have a pickle beer at all times. It's a rotating pickle line, and they just do pickle all year, and people
That's
love it.
insane.
They make tons of money, and yeah,
That's
so,
What's
crazy.
y'all's pickle beer name?
Bit of a pickle. Yeah, it's a pickle sacker.
Yeah, we put that one
There's
out
a
every
huge
year.
pickle following though.
We do a whole
pickles,
pickle
you know?
fest.
People
We
love
do a whole
pickles.
pickle fest here, and
Yeah.
it started out where you could get a flight of different like flavored pickle beers, and the pickle beer that we put in the market though I think is crushable and
Sure.
like it sells really well. But I love going to places and seeing all the different types of pickle beers on, because I think ours is a Gosa, so it's more lighter profile, where some are butter like pepper pickles and some are like all over the place. So
Yeah, I missed the boat on that one last year. I saw it on my order guide and didn't get it. And then the next week I was like, hey, can I get that pickle beer? They're
Like, sorry, it's gone.
Check it out. Snooze, you lose, old Chris.
it was the same as the Pink Pony Club. Like Pink Pony Club comes out every year and everybody's calling me by the next week and they're like, hey, can I get a keg of that? I'm like, I didn't even advertise it because it's already gone. Like I just can't.
What is
What's the
this?
flavor?
So Pink Pony.
It's a pink Starburst sour.
Whoa.
Obviously playing around with flavors. Pink Starburst sours are ones you can kind of do whatever you want to them. They're very flexible in that way. So we did Pink Starburst, and then obviously it's Chapel Roan inspired. We did Pink Pony Club beer, and the can's like neon pink. It's very kitschy. And,
I mean, now we're talking my kind of.
we've done it 2 years in a row, and people love it. And so we're hoping that we're going to do it a third time this year to see how
Y'all
that
gotta
goes.
keep dancing at the Pink Pony Club.
Yes.
Dude, if I could get it on draft at the Pink Pony Club in Atlanta, that would be ideal. Can't convince Nate to do a road trip though.
Give me a shirt. Give me a shirt. I'll get us in there.
But yeah, that's a beer that we did actually, again, listening to the market. Like the last 2 years, we did 15 barrels of it. And like I said, by the time I could advertise it, it was already gone. It wasn't worth me sending out information to accounts. But this year we moved it into our sour series. And so this year we're doing 30 barrels versus the 15. So hopefully we can share the love a little bit more.
bit
But
Can I
When
just
is this
go
coming
ahead and
out? We're gonna
pre-order
try.
2 half
I already
barrels
have you
right
down.
now. Thank you.
I already have you
That's
down.
America.
Chris, when is this happening? So we know.
it
Whenever
happens
she
in-
tells me.
what is it?
May.
May.
I believe it's May.
Oh,
It's
May?
that it comes
Sweet.
out.
Yes.
My mom calls me the Pink Pony Girl, so I was like,
Ah.
and
There
then the
you go.
Chapel Roan song came out, and I was like, I made it her ringtone.
Nice.
I had actually just named. Mike came up to me. He was like, "What are we gonna name this beer?"
Yeah,
And I just listened to the Chapel Roan documentary or something on a podcast, and I was like, "Pink Pony Girl." I don't know. And the name stuck, and I think that was honestly opportunity. Like if we would have had a different name for this beer, the popularity, I don't know if it would have been as great.
Yeah.
But snagging that name and naming it, like it definitely has.
Popularity.
Like popularity is
Yeah.
definitely there for that.
It makes sense. They say the biggest hits are written in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
sometimes when you're just like not thinking, you got a clear head. Like that's when like the gold happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I just feel like the trends right now are like glitter and that kind of stuff, so I feel like that would be, and anything herbal, you know.
For sure.
So jump on that bandwagon.
That's the man to talk to.
The girls want glitter and
We've had a glitter beer.
I respect it. We did do glitter beer.
We've had a glitter beer.
glitter and herbs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Down.
Bringing that out though, we have an interesting question from a psychologist friend. We can't shout out, but there's supposedly like a new trend going on where the market is trying to market women. Do you guys know anything about this? That's like the new trend with alcohol.
Just bar, restaurant,
Yeah.
101.
In general?
Yeah. If you can get
100%.
women to go, the
Women
men
and
will
moms,
follow.
yeah.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
so as far as I know for marketing, so I've helped out with the marketing team and doing like our posts and stuff like that. Like, there's algorithms in the back end that you have to like click on and who you, and definitely women are our target audience because if we can get women to, they're the ones that are on social media the most.
Yeah.
Where guys aren't. So if we can get them to click and like we see more reaction and more like people coming to like
Alright,
we
well.
had an Art After Dark event not too long ago and more people that we can reach out to and it's the women that drag the husbands to it. Yeah. Then they get there and then they drink and then they participate. But
Right.
yeah.
So when we started out, we didn't sell liquor. We were just a craft beer bar. But we understood it on a Friday night, like, hey, there's a bunch of guys in here, no chicks. Who wants to come here?
Yeah.
Like, nobody, right? So we decided to get the liquor license. But once we did that, all of a sudden, like, the sales just went through the roof just because women preferably usually like liquor and guys are the beer drinkers.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had to do a whole marketing scheme just to get women in the bar, so people wanted to stay there, but it gives more options are always a good thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah.
I mean, just as a woman, it's like you could have a beer or you could have like tequila. It's less calories, or Tito's vodka.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So we always have to worry about our weight and everything. We're men. You don't have to worry about that like us women do.
It was really interesting too. Because
Chris doesn't agree.
I mean, he did just come from the gym. There is a happy medium in there. That
Damn, girl, I've had a Planet Fitness account for 10 years and I'm too embarrassed to walk in there and cancel it. I already know how they're going to treat me when I go in there. But like, I see you haven't checked in 10 years. Like, I haven't, you're right.
That's why I have to cancel.
Exactly.
you just make your gym donation.
what are you gonna do for me? But yeah, it's an interesting trend because what she was saying was that there's a lot more pressure on women nowadays. So it's kind of like women are the ones that kind of need to blow off a little bit of steam, and so it was interesting to see us kind of a psychological shift in like advertising in that direction.
Well, I mean, even on my side of it, like the amount of sales reps now, I remember 10 years ago, most of the sales reps for beer were men. And now sales reps are mostly, it's a female dominant, like, job.
Oh, wow.
That we're the ones that are doing beer festivals. We're the ones doing, because it does make that connection with women that come to beer festivals and like, oh, it's okay to like beer and to admit that I like beer. So, but yeah, that's just on my side of the things where I see like the trends going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, most of my distributors, now that I'm thinking about my sales rep, are mainly females.
The trend has changed over the years, where it was a male dominated. Now the amount of female brewmasters. I was part of there's a guild, I guess you could almost say, a group of why am I brain? The Pink Boot Society.
Pink Boots, yeah.
Pink Boot Society. It's all female, like generated brewmasters, beer owners, like all those things that we all meet together, like quarterly, and then we also do one yearly like convention that we all meet and talk about like things. It's a lot like CBC, but it's all female, non-gendered like crowd. So it's really cool to get together with other like-minded people and say, hey, what's working for you?
Yeah, yeah.
So.
It's important. I mean, even just her and I being friends, we're like, okay, well, what's working for you? What's, you're always trying to hash out ideas, or have you seen that trend, or what I mean? We have to worry about the things too.
Yeah.
And people you can trust, like, bounce the ball, creativity.
Yeah.
With creativity, like, let's like try it. Like, well, why not? You know, let's
Yeah.
try this and see what happens.
I mean, and no diss to the male society. I love it.
You can diss it. You
I
can
love
diss
all
it.
of it.
Go ahead.
Females
It's-
are more
it's
females
early.
are more the planners.
Yeah.
So we're the ones planning for what our husbands and what like
Mhm.
we're kind of like saying, hey, what are we gonna do this
Yeah.
weekend? I
Yeah.
have one sitting in the beer garden right now. He's
Yeah.
like, so what are we doing this weekend? I'm like, well, I got to do this at 3.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go downtown and just hang out until then. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, can I have beer? I'm like, yes, you can have some beer. So yeah, honestly, I think that's the trend that I see.
Yeah.
That's like cool. I feel like I learned so
I
much.
know. Do you guys have anything else that you guys want to share? We got through our questions. All
No,
those
it's fine.
questions.
Anything
Nice.
you want to promote or big things coming up?
Do you have any? We're going to be releasing this on St. Patty's Day. So do you guys have a St. Patty's Day special going on?
No, we actually celebrated weekends for the bars. Like we went ahead and celebrated last night. My buddies from Yesterday's, they bought a new beer trailer. They introduced it last night.
Nice.
Yes, it was amazing. So
I saw the pictures. It looked great.
oh man, they're cool guys too. So
I
if
hate
y'all
I
ever
missed
have any
it.
events coming up, you know, well, y'all obviously don't need it, but you know, weddings or something. So y'all know Jackson and Chris from Yesterday's. Yeah. So really cool. Super
Very cool.
proud of them. Happy for them. But we got some food specials going on this week,
Okay.
so we'll do some Irish things and play some Irish music.
Yeah, we don't have too much going on between Fall Line and Just Tapped as far as St. Patty's Day. I know there is a bar crawl going on at First Street. We partnered with Switch, and there's going to be some like vendors out there selling crafts.
Nice.
And then Just Tapped and Switch will both have cocktail bars and selling stuff this week St. Patty's Day. But I will take a second to self plug since we are talking about
Yeah.
beer. The Just Tap Beer Festival is coming up April 25th. That is a huge beer festival that I think we're on 9-10 years running every year.
Nice.
I know for sure on the dockets I have close to 30 breweries.
Wow.
And one of the main focus that we do is we're not just a beer festival that we have people pour in the beer. We don't allow any breweries to come unless they have a self-representation.
Okay.
So they have to have either the brewmaster, the sales rep, or somebody from the tap room come.
Oh, cool.
So like we have pours, and then you can talk to the actual like someone from the brewery,
That's really cool.
and while sampling their
Yeah.
beers and stuff.
That is
So-
unique though.
and it's a
Also.
12 to 5. The beer festival itself's from 1 to 5, and then VIP's from 12 to 1. So yeah, that's a good opportunity for anybody to come out and try a whole bunch of different beers. I think between the breweries, we normally have over 100 different type of beers you can try.
Wow.
And that varies from, we do beer, we have hard seltzers, some wines, ciders.
Yeah, mead too.
And it's free to attend simply because you have to buy a wristband to sample the beers. But if you're not a huge drinker, you can go inside, just grab 1 pint and still walk around and enjoy the atmosphere of live music playing all day.
Yeah,
I would say toys, but no, that's not the right word. Games, garden games.
Outdoor entertainment.
Yes.
Garden toys. We all have garden toys to enjoy.
Everybody loves a good one.
That's the stuff that kids throw each other.
Free toy with every beer. Sold.
Yes.
That's right.
There you go.
That's
But
really
yeah,
cool.
that's the only self promotion I have.
And where will it be at?
It's right up at Just Tapped.
Okay,
on,
cool.
It's
In
on
downtown
Popular
Macon,
Street.
yeah.
Yeah, downtown Macon. And everybody loves us because after the festival, nobody can go anywhere, but they just all wander around downtown and
Yeah.
eat and have a good time. So yeah,
Nice.
Love
That's
that.
awesome.
If you're planning like a trip to Macon, that's a great thing to stop by and do too.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Always a good time from what I remember.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we're all done, then
Yeah.
that's a wrap.
Thanks.
Thank you.